First thing you can do is remove the spring clip by prying at it outwards. And then on the back side of the caliper you have two dust covers that look like this. You want to pry it off, and then you'll have a 7mm Allen, two bolts to remove the caliper. I have this tool that helps press in the piston back into the caliper. You want to do that so you can get the new pads on. If not, it's not going to fit. You can use a C-clamp and the old brake pad to press that piston back in also. Make sure it goes pretty smoothly. On the caliper there is a brake thickness sensor, and what you're going to have to do is right in here to disconnect the sensor from the brake pad. There's a small pin you want to pry outwards, and you'll be able to disconnect the sensor, and then you'll be able to remove the pad, and then real carefully. Alright, now you can remove the caliper bracket with these two 18mm bolts on the back side, and then they have this Torx 30 right here, and that'll remove the rotor from the hub assembly. Alright, now you want to compress the pistons back in the caliper. I have this special tool you can buy from any auto parts store. Press those babies back in, and you can remove this pad, install the new pad, and make sure these guide pins are nice and loose. What I typically do is remove them and then clean off all this crud that builds up. It's like some sandpaper, Emerald cloth. Grease them up, put them back in, and do the same thing for this side, and same thing for all around the vehicle. Because you want to make sure those are free flowing so they will not cause premature brake wear. Before putting the pads on, you want to make sure that this dust boot on the piston here is all the way in. You can see it kind of has a bubble in it right now. So what you want to do is get a small screwdriver, a pick, and pry back along the piston side and burp it. You kind of see how it went all back down in place. Making sure not to puncture this dust boot, because you can ruin the caliper and cause more issues down the road. Alright, install the brake pads, and then install the spring clip, which is just easily snaps right on. Install the dust boots for the brake caliper bolts, and from the old rotor remove this little rubber grommet that is for the brake shoes for the e-brake. It's like a little spy hole to see how much life you have on there, and just push it. Once you have the inside pad removed, you have to remove the brake thickness sensor, and all you really need to do is gently pry up right here, and it'll lift up out of the pad, and then insert it into the new pad. If your brake pads are worn down to where your ABS or your brake light's on, you're gonna have to replace this connector.